Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Ah, it's like an interjection. Baba Booey. Shut the fuck up. It's got a good sound to it. I think that's why people like saying it. It feels good. It could be used any way. Just like fuck. You know, in Longman's Chinese English dictionary, they have all the different usages of the word fuck translated into Chinese, and they have English sentences for them. And one of the things in there that I just found just amazing, and I could feel it the way it was written. You fucked everything up. They teach these people how to say fuck. It's good. Baba Booey could have all kinds of different ways of saying it. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. I think that's really the only way that works. Baba Booey. An ejaculation to utter suddenly and unexpectedly. Forget everything I just said. There's only one to say. Baba Booey. Yeah, that's the only way to say it. Well, I was out in the world today. And I was listening to Howard Stern, and they were talking about all these maniacal things that are going on airplanes. How, you know, this happened. There's a woman laying there with her arm, making people walk around her arm, and this woman's got to pee, and she won't let her by, and the woman's like, I gotta pee, and she's like, you know. So she gets by it, and she starts screaming like a banshee, this woman in the chair that was fucking just being a cunt. How else can you describe it? I mean, even if you are that cunt, you must be aware of it. You're working hard for that. You're getting arrested in public transit. I mean, airplanes are the only place you can really count on getting arrested in public transit if you're fucking around. Any place else, just off the bus, where you get your ass beat, the ambulance will come and take you. Some other way is going to happen before you get up. These people are fucking sick of it in the air. They're like, we can't just throw them out. Which, you know, that might be the next step. Because people like this aren't doing anybody any good in their community. Their own families can't stand them. It was like one time I was pulled into the gas station, the best gas station in Gaylord. It was a holiday weekend. It was summer. It was beautiful. I was probably 30. I was with my dad. And we pull in. My dad's got to get gas. There's traffic everywhere. And there's a guy with a fucking boat on a trailer. And my dad hates people that live lives of luxury. His boat is for fishing. You know, and this guy that's fucking blocking everything. My dad starts screaming, ah, out of nowhere. And I'm just sitting there. I'm used to it. Yeah. You see, that's the problem. Is you get used to it, and they think it's okay. And he starts screaming, why don't you go back downstate where you belong, at this guy. And I got out and I was smoking a cigarette. And the guy looks at me, he says, that's your dad? And I said, yeah. But there's the thing, at least the way that I was with it, being used to it, it made me cope with being around it, but it didn't make me defend him to strangers. You can support this fucking shit. What's your dad? Yeah. So I'd say sometimes you don't have to say anything at all. So these are these people on the fucking plane. Just fucking pitch them out. Don't even give them any news. You know, all they get by getting in the news is somebody standing behind them, getting ready to fuck them right into the jail cell. Because they're not there to help. They're there to exceed what they could do on their own. They're nobody. You got people screaming like banshees on airplanes, and they're showing these different clips. And Gary put together a montage of all these different things they played, and he put it to leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Fucking pull your reserve, motherfucker. Oh, I forgot. I didn't give you anything at all. Yeah, and they put all the screams to it, all the yelling and all the fighting and all this stuff. And I was like, holy fuck. It was funny. Funny in a way that enlightening can be. You know, humor is about surprise. That's why they use shock humor. People don't expect somebody to say something like that, and it's shock humor. That doesn't involve that much wit. If you can throw shock humor in with a little bit of wit, then you got them. You got them pissing their pants and buying your shirt. Maybe wrecking the car driving down the road, having to pull over. I don't, that's only tales that I've heard. If you're somebody like that. But then Robin suggests, is it possible that these are people that have been like this the whole time? And they've just been in hiding? And I'm like, yeah. And then Victoria says to me, yeah. And I'm telling her about it. She says, yeah. Assholes. Why were they in hiding so long? I talked about it happening back when they released us from quarantine, when everybody else was back out on the road. And I was like, Jesus, people were fucking madness. It got said at like noon or 1 that it was opening up. Everybody was free to leave their house, their homes, domiciles, residences. And they were out on the road just going fucking balls out assholes. Wow. It's like they've been given the right to be children again. Everybody talks about what it is to be a child again. You see. Well, these are people that were assholes as children to begin with. And I think of when I worked with the mentally handicapped, and there was the one guy, he had at like 6 months old, he got a fever, and it lasted for 4 months. And so he's a 6'2" dude with, I swear he had acromegaly. It wasn't in his records, but he looked like Abe Lincoln. And he would attack you, and he was laughing the whole time. And one time when we took them out in public, I had to redirect him. I was good at fucking getting them away from the children. Hey, look at that. And he goes, hey. And then fucking the dad with the kid is like, I'm like, got you, man. You know, I remember when I was walking around Glenn's Market as a little kid, 10, 12-year-old kid, and you'd see the people, they'd be on their outings, and it turns out it was from the same place I was. It was just a very strange thing to me as a kid like that. See just an adult walking around with a bunch of adults, but all the other adults were, they needed redirection to a certain degree, or direction. Not all of them were attacking. But this guy, he got me in a stranglehold the one time, in a car. I was riding shotgun, so it wasn't going to run us into a telephone pole. But I had to sit there and strengthen my neck, and he's trying to strangle me. He had me around the damn headrest, and I just sat there. I never made a, big deal like, hey, cut it out. Hey, you might kill me. I didn't want to encourage him. I just knew he'd get weak or distracted. And so I said, oh, and he fucking got me, pulled me against the headrest. He was like, and finally I grabbed him by the finger and pinned it back and pulled him off. I said, shut up, sit down. This is a kid that was an infant. This is what we see in a full-grown being of the species, one that stopped developing at 6 months of age as a human being because he had a fucking fever, which burns neurons. It kills brain cells. Heat. Why do you think our hair is supposed to be long and sweat and pull with the wind, draw away from your fucking head in the summer? It's cooling you. It's a conditioning unit. So when you cut your hair, you're taking care of getting rid of something that's trying to take care of your fucking brain. And when you get older, the hair falls out. Why is that? Because it's just too hot altogether. You need to let the heat right out because you're fucking smarter all the time. Every fucking day. You got all that heat in there. It's got cool. It wouldn't be the first time my hair caught on fire, or the second, or the third. So that's what you have, is a 6-month-old mentality. When you say, oh, to be a child again, you've got this fucking guy. Ma! That's what he'd say. And he'd point at you. And you'd say, well, I didn't do anything. And how did they know? I had the light turned off. Never want to bite a verbal. Never want to bite a verbal. I'm not talking about him. So this is what you get when you get people becoming children again, and you put them on the road, and they're fucking just like, They're not communicating, they're just attacking. And as I'm talking to Victoria about this, I said, like this guy over here. I said, there in the night, I'm fucking driving. Lane splits to 2 for a good distance, so I always pull over in that one, so I don't have this guy looking at my ass end. It gives us space, and I'm not throwing water from the road up onto his windshield, even though it's not raining. There's shit coming off the road. You don't want that dirty, filthy stuff on your windshield. I'm being a courteous driver. And it seems every time I do that, I can see them back there, and they just, and they're gunning it. And I lose my lane. I have to merge again here because I'm not going over there. And I give my blinker plenty of time, and he'll be coming right up. And before he has a chance, I just pull over to get into my lane when it narrows back down and go where I'm going. And I said, this is the guy right here. He's riding ass for like 5 miles in a 50-mile-an-hour zone down a backcountry road, someplace like that. You think he's going to get anywhere any faster? Back off. 6 feet, motherfucker. And I said to her, really? All you really have to do to know how somebody is going to act in a fucking aeroplane today just watch how they're driving on the road.